Well, hello and welcome to our front yard garden here in the South Carolina upstate. We're in Greer, South Carolina, and this is episode... before I even get started, we've got a little hummingbird. Don't see many of those, and I don't think we've ever seen one. He's gone already, or she. I don't think we've ever seen one on one of these videos before. They like the zinnias. This is episode 26. It's August 29th. We're getting to the late part of the summer, and the garden is kind of showing that, but it's a beautiful Friday morning, crystal clear skies. We've had some overcast skies the last couple of visits, and it's nice to see just really perfect weather. Right now it's right around 70 degrees. Early morning, it's just about 9 o'clock. I wanted to get out early so we could see the morning glories today, and so we're going to get started here with our video. And as usual, we start in the mailbox bed, and we've got our zinnias. They are all right around 4 feet tall right now, but they've kind of peaked a little bit. Despite that, I mean, still lots and lots of flowers. We're still getting moths and butterflies, and obviously the occasional hummingbird. And I always go on and on about all the different colors of these zinnias. We've got orange, yellow, different shades of pink. We've got some white, red, different shades of red, and there's just really a joy to watch. And these all went in from seed. We put these in coffee cups out on the porch back in April, and put them in about a month later, and here they are. So very low maintenance. I highly recommend these if you have the time and you're willing to put in the effort to grow them on your own, but they are absolutely worth the effort because between all the color and the low maintenance and the fact that they keep blooming, they've been putting out flowers since late May, and now it's late August, so 3 months later, and they'll continue to put out flowers for at least another month or two, depending on what the weather does. In addition, really about the only other thing that's growing right now, we had a few phlox down here. I guess technically you can just barely see the phlox. Still a couple of them in bloom, but they're lost amongst everything else here. But we do have some of these morning glories, and as I say, since I got out here early enough, they're still out, but they've peaked themselves, and we're not having the large numbers that we were earlier in the season. So it's not to be it's not a surprise, really. And again, when you look enough, you'll find a few of these, but we had lots and lots of them just a few weeks back. But it is late summer, so a lot of things are starting to wither a bit. So we'll head on up closer to the house and see what else we have here. I am starting very slowly a project of kind of trying to keep up with the yard. Have not had a lot of time over the summer, but I'm slowly working on it. So hopefully in the weeks to come, you'll see some improvements, like fewer weeds and so on. Like this bed, unfortunately, has really gotten taken over by weeds, and I'm going to be working on that. We've got our little petite knockout rose here, still putting out some flowers, although it's long since peaked itself. And coming back over here, we have more of the zinnias with more of a focus on the red. We didn't have a ton of those in the other bed, but these really are doing well, and a fair number of pink and lavender ones, and white. Overall, they're a little bit smaller in this bed, the flowers themselves, than in the other. You see a lot of variations in size and shape. Now I've got a nice little butterfly right there, enjoying a little rest on one of the zinnia plants. I have not seen that particular pattern of butterfly here in the garden before, but there he is. Beautiful. Then over here we have a lot of black-eyed Susans, they've really come out. I'd say they're peaking right now, at least here in the front. I think they peaked a couple weeks back in the backyard, as we will see in our follow-up video. But yeah, these are really a blessing for us. We didn't put them in here. They just have come up by seed, and they're fairly, I won't say aggressive, but they're fairly invasive. So they really tend to take over, but only at this time of the year. So everything else that we have in here, like irises and clematis and everything else, are primarily spring, and we don't have anything but zinnias at this time of the year, except for the black-eyed Susans. So it gives us a nice background of color behind all the pinks and reds, and so it really is just kind of an ideal situation. And then we also have a climbing rose here. The plant itself isn't doing a whole lot, but it continues to put out these beautiful bright red flowers. We're getting 2 or 3 a week, and it looks like we have several buds here. So these are going to continue to flower probably throughout September. It helps that the weather has been a little bit more favorable lately. We've gotten out of the super hot weather that we get here in the midsummer. It's starting to cool down ever so slightly. The highs today will probably be in the upper 70s, and probably will continue to be that way through September. We don't usually get our first frost here until anywhere from mid-October to late November. Last year it wasn't until December 1st, amazingly. So our garden really continued for a long time and was absolutely wonderful. And then it got really cold and stayed that way. Now here we do have a little bit of our Russian sage left. It's kind of lost in here amongst all the other flowers, but it continues to put out some of those little delicate purple flowers. And then over here are hydrangeas are long since peaked, but they're just sort of slowly fading, but they're still pretty, and they'll give us a little bit of color for another few weeks before they just turn brown altogether. Kind of the same thing over in here. And then I'll show our little citrus grove and our lemon trees here. Doing pretty well. They've gotten a lot of water. We had quite a bit of rain for a couple of weeks, and it's been dry this week to give them a little bit of a break. I need to water them, but they're looking good. We still have our 2 lemons, actual lemons, growing, and it'll be probably a few more months before they're completely ripe, which is fine with me. I enjoy watching them just kind of hang out there. Makes me feel like I'm in Florida or California. And then coming over this way, not a whole lot to see in this area, unfortunately. This is primarily a spring bed, not bread. And we do have a lot of viburnum here that have gotten bigger and bigger, and hopefully those will put out a lot of their white flowers next spring. Now this bed also is primarily spring, but we do have some azaleas here, which will, they're giving us a few little flowers right now, but in the probably in October they'll take off again and really give us a whole bunch of pink and red flowers. So we'll look forward to that. And then behind that are viburnum. Again, those are spring flowers. Not going to be a whole lot to see right now. Also, and this is a bed that I'm going to have to do some work on, but for right now I'm going to try to enjoy what we've got here. This is a crepe myrtle tree, and we're going to step back in a minute to look at its flowers. But close up, you get these little sprigs that come out of the ground. These have an extensive root system, and these are the flowers close up. They're beautiful. Kind of look like lettuce, except they're in this bright pink color, and you get them even at the ground level. Butterfly bush here, still putting out a few little blue flowers, not a whole lot. It's mostly done for the year, but still a little bit of color to be had. The key thing with this was chopping it back. It had to be cut back, or it just wasn't going to put out any more flowers. So I'd probably have to cut it back again next year, and hopefully we'll get more flowers out of it again. And this is our bank of knockout roses, 5 of them. I have not had an opportunity to deadhead them, and unfortunately that's why they haven't bloomed. You see all these seed pods, and that's really taken up all the energy of the plant. Now, one of our neighbors down the street has several of these as well, and he has been able to deadhead. He's a retiree and has a little more time than I do, and he's got lots and lots of nice red roses on his plant. So hopefully next year, if I have a little more time, I'll be able to keep up with this and maybe keep these colorful throughout the season. Now, stepping back, show the crepe myrtle tree. These bloom generally from early July through September, and we have 4 different colors of them. Ours is that bright pink color. I thought we had lost all of our flowers a couple weeks back when we had some heavy rain, but it was not the case. They came back, they put out new flowers, and they're looking really good. Now, our neighbor has a light pink one, or almost kind of a lavender color. He has a couple of them on either side of his driveway. And as I say, there are 4 different colors that we've identified down here in this area. Now we'll come back to this part of the yard, this oval bed, kind of finish up. Now, the last couple of weeks, there hasn't really been much to see here, but today there is, actually. We have some dahlias that are finally opening up. We've had a lot of trouble with our dahlias. A lot of the flowers just turn brown before they open up. These have opened up and looking pretty good. Unfortunately, there's so many flowers that they've gotten top heavy and they're kind of tilted over, but that's kind of the nature of dahlias. We've got a climbing rose here with some pink flowers on it. A few phlox, again, kind of lost back in here. The phlox is not a huge plant, and it doesn't, if it's surrounded by taller plants like these knockout roses and the Asiatic lilies, you tend to not see them. But we do have a lot of zinnias in this area, and they're doing really well. Again, the mixture of colors is really nice. We have daylilies back in here that are all long since finished up. These knockout roses are pretty much done. I haven't deadheaded them either, and they've got huge seed pods on them. But I do have one little coral rose back in there. Everything over here is finished up. We had a lot of Asiatic lilies, gladiolus, monarda. All of them are finished up. So not a whole lot to see here. There's one little thing that's kind of cool, and I don't know what it is. It's really more of probably a weed than anything else, but it does give us these gorgeous little blue flowers. I think it's just a random woodland plant. It kind of looks, if you look closely at it, it kind of looks like an insect face. And the bright blue, you don't see a lot of bright blue flowers aside from irises, and those are usually spring related. This time of year you don't get a lot of blue, so those are nice. And there you go. So that's our front yard garden, and actually I think compared to the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's looking better than it has. I don't know if it's because the weather has cooled down a little bit or what. As I say, the black-eyed Susans have opened up more. The zinnia is still doing really well. The intense heat of the summer is not ideal for most plants. Some can handle it, but most don't. And we have had a lot of rain, so they're pretty well hydrated and showing off. So we got lots of color here. Hopefully it'll continue into September. We'll continue to do these videos every week, and we're going to start our backyard video in just a second. So until next time, hope it's sunny wherever you are, and happy gardening.